The last photo David ever took of his daughter showed a girl with braces, messy hair, and a genuine smile. 6 months later, at her funeral, he didn't recognize her face. Sarah met Marcus when she was 14. Her mother, Linda, had been single for 3 years since the divorce, struggling to make ends meet in their cramped apartment. Then Marcus walked into Linda's life at Charity Gala, tall, successful, charming. A cosmetic surgeon with a practice in Beverly Hills and a mansion in the hills. "I can give you everything you deserve," he told Linda on their 3rd date. And he did. Within months, they were married. Sarah had her own suite, her own walk-in closet, a different life. This is CrimeAtlas. Would you trust someone who promised you everything? Thank you for joining us today. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. At first, Marcus was a perfect stepfather. He drove Sarah to school in his Mercedes. He attended her volleyball games. He told her she was beautiful. But there was always a pause before the compliment, a slight tilt of his head, a professional assessment in his eyes. "You know," he said one evening over dinner, "you have your mother's bone structure. Strong. Classic." He reached across the table and gently touched Sarah's chin, turning her face toward the light. "But we could refine it, just a little." Linda laughed nervously. "She's 14, Marcus. I'm just saying, preventative care starts young. All the smart parents in our circle understand that." Our circle. Sarah noticed how her mother's posture changed at those words. Straightening. Belonging. The first injection happened on a Saturday morning. Marcus called it just a tiny bit of Botox to prevent wrinkles from forming. Sarah sat in his home clinic, the leather chair cold against her bare arms, while he marked her forehead with a purple pen. "This won't hurt," he promised. "You're going to thank me when you're 30 and everyone else has lines. Would you let someone inject your child with something permanent?" Linda stood in the doorway, watching. When Sarah's eyes met hers, searching for protection, Linda smiled. "It's fine, honey. Marcus knows what he's doing." The needle stung. Sarah blinked away tears, and Marcus frowned. "Don't make that face. You'll create more wrinkles." At 15, Sarah stopped smiling in photos. Not because she didn't want to, because she couldn't. Her forehead was frozen. Smooth. Perfect. Dead. The comments at school started slowly. "You look different," her best friend Mia said. "Did you do something to your face?" Sarah lied. She said it was makeup, new skincare, puberty. She didn't tell Mia about the monthly appointments with Marcus, the injections, the chemical peels that left her skin raw and weeping, the way Marcus photographed her face from every angle, creating a treatment portfolio that he showed Linda like report cards. "See? She's transforming. My masterpiece." When did improvement become imprisonment? By the time Sarah turned 16, she had 12 Botox sessions for chemical peels, lip fillers, and permanent eyeliner tattooed on her lash line. Marcus never asked her permission. He asked Linda. And Linda, desperate to keep her marriage, kept saying yes. Then Marcus brought up the surgery. It was Sarah's 16th birthday. They were at an expensive restaurant overlooking the ocean. Marcus ordered champagne for himself and Linda, sparkling cider for Sarah. Halfway through dinner, he slid a blue Tiffany box across the table. Sarah opened it. Inside was a brochure. Breast augmentation. The gift of confidence. Her stomach dropped. "What is this?" "Your real present," Marcus said, his voice warm. "I've been thinking about your future, Sarah. You're going to college soon. Dating. The job market is competitive. Physical confidence matters." "Marcus, she's 16, Linda said, but her voice was weak. "Exactly. The perfect age. Her body's done developing. The recovery will be easier now than later." He leaned forward, his hand covering Sarah's. "I've seen what happens to girls who don't feel beautiful, Sarah. Depression, eating disorders, self-harm. I don't want that for you. Your mother doesn't want that for you." Sarah looked at her mother. Linda's eyes were wet. "Honey, if you want it." "I don't," Sarah whispered. Marcus's expression didn't change, but his grip on her hand tightened. "You don't have to decide tonight. Think about it. Look at the before and afters in that brochure. Imagine how confident you'll feel. Can a child truly consent when the adult holds all the power? For 3 weeks, Marcus didn't mention it, but Sarah noticed things. Fashion magazines left open to lingerie ads. Marcus commenting on actresses' bodies during movies. She's stunning. That's what confidence looks like. Her mother showing her prom dresses, all of them low-cut, designed for a body Sarah didn't have. Finally, Linda sat on Sarah's bed one night. Marcus really thinks this would help you. And honestly, sweetheart, I was insecure about my body at your age. I wish someone had given me this opportunity. Mom, I don't want surgery. You're being dramatic. It's a simple procedure. Marcus does them every day. You'll be asleep. You won't feel anything. And when you wake up, you'll finally feel beautiful. Finally, as if she'd never been beautiful before. Sarah signed consent form because she was 16 and wanted her mother's approval more than she wanted her own voice. How many girls have sacrificed themselves for love that should have been unconditional? The surgery was scheduled for a Friday. Marcus assured them it would be private, performed at his exclusive clinic, not a hospital. No crowds, no waiting, just us taking care of family. David had no idea. Linda had blocked his number months ago. She told Sarah it was because your father doesn't understand our lifestyle now. But really, it was because Linda knew David would never allow this. Sarah spent Thursday night unable to sleep. She wrote in her journal, pages and pages about feeling trapped, about missing her old face, about wanting to be 14 again when her biggest worry was algebra homework. She wrote, I don't recognize myself anymore. Every time I look in the mirror, I see what they made me, not who I am. She didn't know those would be some of her last written words. The surgery took 3 hours. Marcus used a new type of implant. Something he'd been excited about, a prototype from a European manufacturer. Cutting edge, he told Linda. Sarah will be one of the first to have them in the U.S. Experimental implants. In a 16-year-old, without FDA approval. Would you gamble with your child's life to be cutting edge? Sarah woke up in agony. Her chest felt like it was on fire. Marcus gave her prescription painkillers, told her pain was normal, and sent her home the same day. Linda helped her up the stairs to her room, propped pillows around her, and whispered, You're going to be so beautiful. This will all be worth it. But the pain didn't stop. Day after day, Sarah texted her mother from school. It hurts. Something's wrong. Please take me to a doctor. Linda showed the messages to Marcus. He said, She's just healing. Give it time. 2 weeks passed. Sarah developed a fever. Marcus prescribed antibiotics remotely, never examining her. Linda gave Sarah the pills and said, Marcus knows best. 3 weeks passed. Sarah stopped eating. Her skin turned gray. She couldn't lift her arms without crying. In the bathroom mirror, she saw red streaks radiating from her incision sites. At school, Mia asked if she was okay. Sarah lied. I'm fine. Because that's what she'd been taught to say. Keep the family secrets. Protect the image. Don't let anyone see the rot underneath the perfect surface. When does loyalty become complicity? On a Tuesday morning, Sarah collapsed during second period. Her body convulsed on the classroom floor, while her teacher screamed for help. The paramedics found her pulse racing, her temperature at 104 degrees, her blood pressure plummeting. In the ambulance, Sarah whispered to the paramedic, Tell my dad I'm sorry I stopped calling. She died at 3:47 p.m. Septic shock from a surgical site infection. The experimental implants had ruptured, leaking silicone and bacteria throughout her chest cavity. The infection had been growing for weeks. If she'd been treated in a hospital, if she'd had proper follow-up care, if someone had listened when she said something was wrong, if, Linda called David from the hospital. She was hysterical, incoherent. There was an accident. You need to come. Sarah's gone. David got on the first flight. He arrived at the morgue at midnight, exhausted and shattered. When they pulled back the sheet, he stumbled backward. That's not my daughter. Sir, I understand this is difficult. The morgue attendant began. You don't understand. That's not her face. What did they do to her face? The medical examiner pulled out Sarah's file. Page after page of procedures. Botox, fillers, surgical records. Then he pointed to the Y incision on her chest. There's more. You should sit down. David didn't sit. He stood there, reading every page, his hand shaking. Breast augmentation. Experimental implants. Performed by his daughter's stepfather. Consented to by his daughter's mother. Hidden from him for months. At the bottom of the file, tucked into an evidence bag, was Sarah's journal. The police had found it in her room during the investigation. David read it standing in that cold morgue, tears streaming down his face. I don't want to be beautiful anymore. I just want to be me. I just want someone to ask me what I want. I want to call Dad, but Mom took my phone. I want to go home, but I don't know where home is anymore. I want this to stop. Why won't anyone make it stop? But really, what kind of mother chooses a man over her daughter's voice? The investigation moved quickly. Marcus's clinic had no proper licensing for minor surgeries. The implants were unapproved prototypes he'd received from a manufacturer under the table. He'd documented everything: photos, videos, notes about Sarah's transformation, stored on a computer like a trophy collection. Linda had signed every consent form. She'd ignored every one of Sarah's pleas. She'd chosen Marcus's approval over her daughter's pain. And when Sarah was dying, Linda had believed Marcus instead of believing her child. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, advocates, other parents whose children Marcus had operated on, now terrified and demanding examinations. Marcus showed no remorse. He sat at the defense table in an expensive suit, looking annoyed by the inconvenience. I'm a doctor, he told the jury. I was improving her. She would have thanked me eventually. Linda testified through tears. I thought I was helping her. Marcus said she'd be bullied if she wasn't perfect. He said this was normal. I trusted him. I loved him. The prosecutor, a woman with fire in her eyes, leaned forward. Did you love him more than you loved your daughter? Linda couldn't answer. She could not think of any. David took the stand on the final day. He brought the last photo he'd taken of Sarah, the one with braces and messy hair and joy. He held it up to the jury. This is who they killed, he said. Not the girl in the morgue with the frozen face and the scarred chest. This girl, the one who laughed too loud and ate pizza with her hands and wanted to be a veterinarian. They took her away piece by piece, and she was too young to stop them. His voice broke. She was already beautiful. She was already perfect. And they convinced her she wasn't. They convinced her she needed to be fixed. They fixed her to death. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Marcus got 12 years for manslaughter, unlicensed medical practice, and reckless endangerment. Linda got 5 years for child endangerment and conspiracy. In a just world, they have gotten more. But Sarah's world ended the moment they decided her body was theirs to redesign. David buried his daughter in the clothes she'd worn in that last photograph. Faded jeans and an oversized sweater. No makeup, no enhancements. Just Sarah, his beautiful girl, finally at rest. At the funeral, he stood at the podium and said what no one else would. We live in a world that tells our daughters they're not enough, that their faces need fixing, that their bodies need improving. That beauty is something you buy, not something you are. And sometimes that world kills them. Sarah didn't die from an infection. She died from being told every day that who she wasn't good enough. He looked directly at the camera filming for the news. If you're watching this and you have a daughter, look at her right now. Don't look at what needs fixing. Look at what already shines. Tell her she's enough. Tell her she's beautiful exactly as she is. Tell her before someone else convinces her she's not. Can you look your daughter in the eye tonight and tell her she's already perfect? Or have you already planted the seed of doubt? Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.